Cool. We're live. Thanks for joining us, YouTubers. I want to give a huge shout out. Thank you to Anji for joining me tonight. That'd be cool to go over our top 10 Marvel Legends in our collection. Before we do, I do want to say thank you, Crunchy Cheetos Creations. Let's hear these top Marvel Legends. You'll hear it in just a second, but I do want to hear, Anji, how did you first get into Marvel Legends?
Yes, so I was literally after you asked me to do this podcast, I was trying to think because for some reason I do not have a memory of how I got into Marvel Legends. It's like one day I had 0 and the next day I had 10. But I think it's because I got into the MCU kind of late. I really didn't come in until they did. I mean, I saw the first Iron Man, I saw the first Avengers, had no idea what was going on. Then I saw Doctor Strange because I was a huge Doctor Strange fan. And so at the time, the only thing I could really afford was buying Funko Pops because I was like, I can spend $10 at like a time. And I used to be a Funko collecting Instagram. And then I started getting into the comics, and then I love Wanda and Vision. They're my favorite Marvel characters outside of Doctor Strange. And I remember coming across that they had the Family Matters Scarlet Witch, and I was like, I didn't know there were toys that existed for Marvel characters. And so that sent me down a wormhole. I got the classic Vision to go with her, and then it went on from there. I saw that they had MCU characters, and I was like, all right, well, we're not collecting Funko Pops anymore. So that's how I got into Marvel Legends.
And it's kind of cool too, because like you can actually pose these on like Funko Pops.
Exactly, yeah. Not to, gender bias, but when I was a little girl, I did dolls. And so, I've always loved articulation. So when I progressed, I was like, I could do action figures now. These are like Marvel dolls.
Right
I know
on.
I,
And
I know I'm not supposed to say that, but it pretty much the same thing.
no, yeah, it's true because like I joke with some people that mezcos are Barbie dolls because they're cloth goods.
Yeah,
So right
exactly.
on.
I mean, it's interchangeable. Call it what you want.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of like the similar story. I had Funko Pops as well.
Oh, nice.
Infinity War. I had Marvel Legends prior to that, but Infinity War really got me heavy back into Marvel collection. I
Yeah.
started with Funko Pops. I'm like, oh hey, Marvel Legends, sure, let's buy those. And then 9 shelves later, there we at.
How many Funko Pops did you have? Like, do you have your total number at one point?
When I had the Funko app, still it
Yes.
was like 90,
Okay.
and
So
majority of them were Hulk.
okay, okay, so you were really into Hulk.
Yeah,
I was trying to get all the Marvel ones, so I had over 200 at one point, and then I
and
needed to stop, so I did.
currently, are you still at 200?
No, I downsized. I think I have 12 now, and they're mostly Doctor
Whoa!
Strange. Yeah, I worked a pumpkin patch like 2 Octobers ago, and I just sold them at a stand. So,
But now you have those other figures right there.
but now I have the other ones. Yes, of
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. And Crunchy
course.
Cheeto Creations. If you want to hear those top Marvel Legends, here we go. I guess I will. Well, ladies
Y-
first. Would you like to kick it off, Anji?
You heard my story. You can do some talking now.
Okay, I can. Okay. So my number 10 is it's my first. It was my only Kit Bash in my list because we're including Kit Bashes. Is this Kit Bash Donald Glover as Miles Morales?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Reason for that is back when Tobey Maguire left and they were looking for a new Spider-Man, there was a campaign for Donald Glover to be the next Spider-Man. There's even a hashtag Donald for Spider-Man.
Okay, I was
Uh,
not aware of that at all.
yeah, it's like early 2010s.
Okay.
And the cool thing was like the creator of Miles Morales saw Donald Glover in an episode of Community. It was kind of inspired to create that character based off of his outfit.
Oh, that's so neat.
So when Marvel Legends came out with this PS4 Spider-Man last year, the previous one that came out was hard to get.
Yeah.
It's like resale value was insane. So I was like, cool, yeah, I'll get this. And I bought doubles of it. And it's the first time I ever bought a Star Wars Black Series figure
Okay.
because I was like, cool, let me get a Donald Glover head sculpt. And I like heated it up and adjusted the ball hinges on this and put on a Black Series head of
That looks.
Lando.
He made a cameo right in Homecoming
Yeah.
as his uncle character. Did they do that because there was that campaign, or do you think they just
Yeah, I think it
included
was
him?
like a nod to be like, yeah, because even in the movie, he's like, my nephew lives around here, and it's like, oh, that's a
Yeah.
nod to Miles Morales.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
And
that's neat.
looks like Cheetos Creations has the same sentiments. You got a Kit Bash. That's really dope, bro. Thank you. I remember that. Glad they brought him as Miles' uncle
Okay.
in the movie.
Yes.
And thanks for joining us, Articulated Heroes. And Albie from the Lonely Fans podcast making an appearance. Donald Glover, but excellent as Parker. Exactly. And you got a Prowler figure and you got an MCU figure. Yeah. Okay, cool. And that is my number 10.
All right,
Let's
that's a
go
pretty
to
solid start.
Anji. Yeah.
Yes. So for my number 10, he is from the Spider-Man Retro Collection, which might be shocking because I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, but
What?
I am a huge Mysterio fan.
Uh,
So we got the Retro Wave Mysterio. I had to have him, mostly because, you know, I am a huge Mysterio fan. I enjoyed him before they chose Jake Gyllenhaal for the role. I thought he was a perfect actor though, because he had the manic energy. But the reason the reason I love this one is I have the first Marvel Legend they put out of Mysterio, the one where he has like you can either find like the white skull or the green skull variant. But the
hmm,
reason I really like the retro one was because I definitely think they did better on the very vibrant colors of the comics because that was whole Mysterio's appeal. He was very outlandish, obviously, and the reason I've enjoyed Mysterio as a character was because he was created by Steve Ditko, who obviously created Doctor Strange. So you could actually see a lot of Doctor Strange artwork kind of in the Mysterio concept. And I just always thought he was such a unique villain because I was a theater kid when I was in high school. And so I adored the fact that he used like practical stagecraft to like fool his opponents. And it wasn't
yeah.
just, oh, he had magical powers and that's how he defeats Spider-Man. He had to be a little bit more higher IQ. So when they put out the very classic Mysterio, I was like, how can you not get him for your shelf? So he's very bright, very opposing, and I love him.
Very opposing. Yes. I gotta ask him what's up, Bruce? And then Crunchy Cheetos said, "Nice, mysterious, pretty good, super
He
clean."
is.
Uh, I
Yes.
gotta, I gotta ask you, was it hard to remove that from the retro packaging?
Oh, yes. Like I don't even like yes. Like I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man, but even I was like the artwork cuz I'm an artist too, so I respect the art that goes into actually making the box. And I feel like in America that's a little undervalued. So
Yeah.
like tearing it open, I was like, oh no. But I needed him. I have a Mysterio shrine and he had to go on it, so
Do you
it had to
have
be
two?
done. What I have do I have two? No. I haven't
Just one.
bought
Okay.
one for card back yet, but I want to.
Okay. So on my list, every figure I have on here, I have two of.
You have two oh, yeah. Not yet.
uh, Victoria Lemon says, "I'm only shocked that he's not higher up."
I know. You're gonna be very shocked by my list. I'll let you know that.
And Articulated Hero says, "Never mess with a theater kid." I agree.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, man.
I won't. Um, so for that Mysterio one, so I do agree that I think the retro ones tend to have a more like brighter color in contrast
Yeah.
to what the original release was. Just like
Yes.
the Rogue one that was re-released like 2 years ago now. It has like a much brighter yellow as opposed to like the matted gold they used, I think, in the original
Yeah.
release. So I do like the retro versions better, honestly. And plus, did you keep the older one that had the skull?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I still have him. He's just a
Yeah.
little overshadowed now.
All right. Cool.
And I
All right.
forgot with that figure, you could take off his helmet, and he has like that holographic head sculpt underneath too,
Hmm.
which is pretty cool.
Crunchy Cheetos Creation says she's a struggling college student slash artist who is asking of a lot.
Hey, I'm a graduated one now. Now I'm a poor person with a degree.
Boom. She's joined the club with us. We're all starving artists. All right, so we're gonna move on to number 9. Thank you for sharing 10.
Of course.
Number 9, I am going to go with the Marvel Legends movie Venom
Nice.
from the Venom Pool Wave. There's a few reasons why I picked this. This is like the first Marvel Legends Hasbro made that has nothing to do with the MCU. I
Okay.
guess until the Venom 2 spoilers. The articulation on this is insane. It's actually pretty good. You have the diaphragm cut and an ab crunch right there, so you can get it in dynamic poses.
Oh, that's awesome.
The only thing that's missing from this is a Tom Hardy head sculpt.
Hmm.
I was a fan of the movie. There's people that like the trash on it. I like bad movies, or some people think are bad movies. Albie would know. I always say that Incredible Hulk was good. I always say Venom was good. It's not
Yes.
because I'm trolling. But yeah.
See, I agree. I enjoyed the Venom movies. I think they had very weak villains, but I think Tom Hardy is like a great Eddie Brock, and I
Yeah.
I love his dynamic with Venom. Like I think they carry the movie. If you look too much into it, it has issues. But yeah, no, the fact that that has so much articulation for that bulky of a figure is great.
Yeah, and to me, that movie really redeemed Topher Grace's awful performance as
Oh,
Venom in Spider-Man 3.
yes, we don't talk about that.
Yeah. Ask her how many Zemos she has. Never enough Zemos because she does creation.
He didn't make the list, guys. I'm so upset. I'm sorry, Zemo, but I have
Uh,
over 5.
Albie's giving me the face because I say Incredible Hulk's one of the best movies.
Now, have you measured his tongue?
I have not, but
Because that's pretty long.
they say it's longer than Gene Simmons from Kiss. Love that Venom, but I had to customize the white veins, less lighting. Oh no, you've ruined it for me.
Oh.
Now I can't unsee the lightning bolts on there.
Just have him fighting Electro, and then it could be like Electro shocking him, and he's absorbing it.
True. Great size buck for Venom. Cool. I can at least agree Tom Hardy's performance was excellent. Gasp. And Earl's clutch. All right, cool. Yeah, that's my number 9 is Venom.
That's cool. I like that.
Cool.
Where is he on your shelf? Who does he stand with? Do you have like an Eddie Kit Bash or something that goes with him, or is he just on his own?
I wish. I was looking at some from eBay. Overseas, they have some Tom Hardy custom head sculpts. And I'm on the fence. I think I might buy one, but he used to be on this shelf right here, which was like the Fox Marvel shelf.
Okay, yeah, I could see Wolverine back there.
He's going to take up. And then once he went to the MCU, I made a whole Spider-Man shelf right here. So
okay.
Yep.
All right, nice. And it fits.
Right. Okay. And your turn for number 9.
So number 9, I might not have Zemo, who's one of my Disney Plus show loves, but I do have the other one, which is Mobius. I love Mobius. I love this one. Mostly because I'm really mad that the Loki show made me fall in love with Owen Wilson. I mean, I'm an early 2000s kid, so I grew up watching Night at the Museum. So, I have respect for him there. And I guess Cars, if we count that. But no, I really like this figure. And it's because it's a very simple figure. I mean, obviously, like, I feel like if you're into toy photography, he's a great civilian to have in the background, and you wouldn't even notice. But the reason I chose him was because I feel like his likeness to Owen Wilson / the character Mobius is like spot on. Because I have an issue with some of the characters. Like, as much as I love Doctor Strange, I never feel that they quite get Benedict Cumberbatch's likeness. There's always something off about the head sculpts. But when they put out the Mobius one, I thought they did an incredible job. And I love the fact he comes with a pruner, and then like his little temp pad is like highly detailed. Like, I know everyone says it's too big, but I mean, that's great.
Oh, I think it's a good size.
Okay, yeah. It's a little bulky for me, but I mean, if you're going to include detail, you need it too. And I remember because I forgot when Mobius went up on pre-order because he's the Target exclusive. I mean, at my Target, there's like 50 billion of them, so you're not going to miss out. But at the time, he came out, and I forgot if it was like when Loki just premiered, they put him up on Target. But I remember I didn't know anything about the TVA because that's not the comics I read. And so like when Shelf Avengers, who's a good friend of mine, she sent me the pre-order link, and I was like, I don't need Mobius. I don't even know who he is. And so I skipped on the pre-order, and then I watched the show, and I was like, but I love him. So I had to like get him. And I remember it was during episode 4, which, spoiler alert, something happens where you think he's just not going to be around anymore. And I was so upset. And it was like 4 a.m. because the episode dropped at 3 a.m. And I was just on the Target website. And I guess someone canceled their pre-order right then and there because they had one left in stock. And I got him. So we've been through the trenches. So I have to respect him by including him on the list.
Wow. That's pretty cool. We have to get you. Oh, first off, shout out to Shelf Avengers.
Yes.
Awesome account and awesome kit bashes and customs too.
An awesome friend.
Yes. That's awesome that you have Mobius on. I'm about to say Morbius.
I know. I see the trailer and I'm like, Mobius movie. Oh no, it's the vampire.
I remember exactly when it did come out for pre-order. It was like,
when was it?
Beginning of June.
Okay, was it before the Loki series came out, or was it
like after the first episode? Because I was in the midst of like moving, and I was like, I shouldn't buy this. Let me cancel my pre-order. And I was like, I'm never gonna see it in stores. And then there's like you said, there's like 80 of them on the shelf. So I picked up 2 because, like you said, it makes a good civilian.
Okay, yeah.
But also now that I'm thinking about it, because you have him on your list, we have to find you a jet ski.
I know, not kidding. Shelf Adventure and I have been looking for like like a little jet ski to get him. Oh my gosh, it's terribly hard to find.
I will be sure to help you all out. Victoria says, I'll agree the likeness is great, but mine doesn't stand. So I was a little disappointed with him. He does look great in my Loki. So, yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say he has the really annoying like 10-year anniversary Tony Stark suit shoes where if you try to stand him, he's just gonna fall over. Mine stands for me, so I guess mine just respects me more. But I could agree that's annoying.
I hope the suited body is something they update soon because I agree those shoes are annoying. Like they either do like hinge or they don't. It's just like stuck in one place.
Yes.
He said that is great face sculpt for sure. Yep. Mine has the same standing issue. J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah. I remember being mad about it since you skipped it.
I was so upset.
Did you ever think though, when you look at the figures that came out last year, this is like going off topic, we would have gotten an Owen Wilson Marvel Legends, a Jon Favreau, Angelina Jolie, and a Salma Hayek, like these like A-listers?
No, not at all. I remember even thinking because like I'm so used to watching Owen Wilson in like comedic roles, and he was kind of comedic. Loki wasn't that serious of a show; it had a more serious tone. But like I was just impressed by his like take on the guy. He just did a great job.
Yeah. I would put Loki as probably my favorite series. And Fighting Words, WandaVision last.
I was gonna say WandaVision's top tier.
I'm just kidding. Thank you for sharing number 9. Now, my number 8 is this was my top Marvel Legend of last year for the MCU, but it's number 8 for my overall. It is the Endgame Iron Man Mark 85, the snapping finger one. Kind of like on the same boat as you. This is probably one of their best like head sculpts they've ever done. Like I'm a huge fan of their photoreal tech. Like
Yes.
especially for a 1/12 scale, that looks pretty spot on Robert Downey Jr. And because also the MCU started with Tony, ended with him in Endgame, so it was like cool to see them finally make like an Iron Man face sculpt or a Tony Stark head sculpt that's like the likeness is just spot on.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, like, what's so great that figure even almost made my list is just like the emotional impact of it, like what it represents. Like, it's not even it's like Tony's whole arc. It's his sacrifice play. It's that pivotal moment in Endgame. Like, I was so happy when they released that 2-pack.
Yeah, Anji and I talked about this before. There's figures you buy 2 of. I bought 4 of these.
Oh my god. Well, you know what?
Unashamed.
Worthy.
I bought
Worthy.
4. That's to like pose one with the other head sculpt. This like this. The other with the armor. The one to keep on ice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Though I do have a question for you because the only thing that bothers me about that figure is I feel he's too tall. He does not scale very well with some of my figures. He's like a head taller than like Doctor Strange, and I'm like in the movie they're relatively same height.
Yes.
It bothers me.
His unhelmeted head sculpt is
Yes.
at a scale. It's like huge when compared to the other ones. I would say when he has the armor helmet on, you could kind of fudge it like, yeah, the Iron Man suit's supposed to be taller.
Okay.
But when he's unmasked, yeah, I agree with you. This thing is
Yeah.
kind of that's its one flaw is that it's out of scale in terms of head size.
I was gonna say you keep him on his knees anyway because that's the pivotal
Signature
moment.
pose.
But
Yeah.
yeah. But no, I agree. Did you enjoy the Thanos that came with him? I know I feel
Yes.
like Tony kind of overshadowed the Thanos release, but
Yeah, Thanos's mainly are in the bucket. There's like 2 I have on display, but mainly because I think what happened was like I was like thinking it from like Hasbro's perspective. They're probably like, all right, Robert Downey's likeness isn't cheap, so let's just throw in this recycled Thanos in there as well.
yeah.
Call it a day.
Let's see. Okay, so do you know of the 10-year anniversary Tony Stark one with his suit for the very
Yeah.
first one? Do you think that one looks like him? I always thought it looked like Robert Downey Jr., but I've heard people say it doesn't, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I thought the likeness was also incredible with that figure.
that was the best one until this came out.
Okay, yeah.
And even that one with the head sculpt was in scale with like the Marvel Edge, like the 1/12.
Yes.
I saw some dude made a list and he's like, yeah, it looks like a bootleg version. I'm like, what are you talking about? That looks
Yeah.
like Robert Downey Jr.
Okay. Oh, good. I was like, I feel like I'm crazy because I thought it worked just fine.
Oh yeah, he's in my Hall of Armor on this shelf right here.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So is mine. I have a Hall of Armor with him in it too.
The Disney one?
Yes, from the
Yes.
like the toy box series.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out. All right, cool. Articulated Hero says, and Jeff Bridges. Yeah. Another great face sculpt. Yes, I bought 4. You're gonna find out there's figures on this list I have way too many of. Articulated Heroes. If you happen to have the Logan movie Wolverine, that Stark head goes great with it. Yeah, it does.
Oh, nice.
All right. That is my number 8.
Good choice. All right. No one's going to be surprised. My number 8 is going to be from the Marvel Legends Villains Wave that just came out. I think in 2021 or 2020. All the years are blurring together. But it is going to be the classic Dormammu from that
Yes.
wave. I think. So I do have both the Build-A-Figures of Dormammu. I have the one that came from the 2016 wave with Doctor Strange, and I have the Book of Ashanti SDCC exclusive. But I'm a big fan of the 1960s Doctor Strange comics. And like anytime you think of Dormammu, you think of him like this. You think of him in his like goofy goober costume with his really, really bright colors and his like flaming head, and he has his weird collar and his purple unitard. And I just remember Shelf Avengers again sent me the link when they announced him, and I was so excited. I was like, see, that's Dormammu that you need to go with your classic Doctor Strange on your shelf. And I think it's a hard toss up on like if you need a Dormammu for your shelf, which one to get, because I love the size and how imposing the Build-A-Figure is. Like that one has shelf presence, but like if you want like an iconic Dormammu, you have to get his OG one because like just his crown and his fire, I thought they did brilliantly with him. And I didn't think they would include him, so I was so happy that they did.
I really like that one. I remember when they announced it, people were like, "Oh, he's too small." I'm like, his
Yeah,
original
no.
was like, yeah,
See, if you read the comics in the very beginning, he and Doctor Strange were sometimes of very similar, almost to equal height, and then of course later on he obviously becomes larger and more imposing. But he's a full-time being. He can probably change his height at will. He's basically a god. So what if
yeah.
he's a little short?
That's the one I remember growing up because I'm pretty sure I think it was Spider-Man the animated series he appeared on. I might be
Okay,
wrong, but he
maybe.
wasn't like this like tall thing like the Build-A-Figure was. So I do like
Yeah,
how they went with the classic look,
yeah,
and it's all pinless too.
yes. And he just doesn't take up so much like space on your shelf. Like when you get your Build-A-Figures, they like take up so much room. You can like slide him right in there.
Now with that one though, the only thing I struggled with was that black piece in front of him.
Oh,
'Cause
okay, his horns?
yeah, so I
Or
just like lean it up against the thing, like on his.
oh, okay, I see, I just kept the rubber band on it to
Oh, you
keep
did?
them, yeah, I just kept them stuck on his face because when I began to take them off and I saw I was gonna have that issue and I was like, "Nope."
Yeah. Did you get that SDCC one, the Book of Ashanti one? Did you get that when it came out, or did you back?
No, I
Like,
backtrack I wasn't into Marvel Legends when that came out, so I had to spend the arm and the leg, and I did not buy the complete set. I was not crazy enough to do that, but I got the book, and I got it with the Build-A-Figure of Dormammu, and then I got the Astral Projection Doctor Strange with it.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
I saw a cool kit bash on a couple Marvel Legends page on Facebook. Somebody did with that Dormammu head. They
Okay.
put it on Druig's body from
Oh,
Eternals, and
yeah.
they made like the hands switched out, but it looked like a cool kit bash. I'll
Oh,
have to
okay.
find that and show you it.
Yeah, definitely, that sounds cool.
All right, and before we move on to number 7, Crunchy Cheetos Creation says, "Great pose on him."
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna have to copy that post. Victoria says, "Does he look good with your new classic Strange and all your Cleos?"
Yes, he does. Like I said, if you're gonna get a classic Doctor Strange and you need to get the Dormammu with it, they look incredible together. Going out on a little date.
Crunchy Cheetos Creation said, "If you love their mama, then definitely check out the Bowen Designs mini bust. It's really great."
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was a mini bust. Definitely checking that out.
He said, "I got the SDCC one too, and he's a beautiful figure."
Yeah, I think is if you have to get one, get the SDCC one. He's got
Yeah.
like battle damage in brighter colors.
All right, thank you guys, and let's move on to number 7.
Yes.
Try to keep on the numbers. Number 7, we have Hella.
Ooh.
And I have both versions. I have the original one that came
Okay,
with
I
the.
was just about to ask. I was like, I think that was the latest one from the Ragnarok 2-pack, right?
And the other one was from the Gladiator Hulk Build-A-Figure set.
Okay.
And the cool thing I liked about the newer one is they updated the photo Realtek face scan on it. So like the original one, her eyes were white, but this one you
Okay.
can clearly see her eyes in there.
Yeah.
And the other head sculpts, like likeness to Kate Blanchett's, pretty on point. I was a huge fan of Hela, and Thor Ragnarok was like one of my favorite Marvel movies. and it really turned Thor's character around, in my opinion.
Yeah, it turned the whole MCU recipe like on its head. Like it was such a breath of fresh air from watching so many like scripted. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like up until that point, like she's like a really badass female villain. We never really got an MCU up until her, so I was like, this was cool. There's Neko Wolf I have coming in that's going to be like my stand-in as Fenris the Wolf.
Okay, yeah.
I can't wait for that. But I really, really like this figure, and I think she scales well with the movie figures, and the detail on the suits as well are pretty good. The
Yeah.
funny thing is, the original one, the colors were inverted. Like the part that's black was green, and the part that's green was black.
Okay.
I should have brought it down from the shelf for comparisons, but this is
Say.
part. I do love like the design of her, like getting it close to what we saw in the comics.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if the older one was more off of like concept art, because sometimes they get it early, and so they make not as accurate figures to get them
Yeah,
out on time. But yeah, no, I agree. I really also like the accessory she comes with her holding Mjolnir and like
yeah.
catching it, like beginning to break it. I agree. So what made you go with that head sculpt? Not that I mean it's the iconic one. I liked it with her hair all down and looking wild.
I have well, the old one has that head sculpt on there.
Okay.
This one
Okay, yeah.
has so I went with this just because it's just so it's wild, like this design on there, and like
Yes.
what we see in the comics. So I was like, this is cool, and you can definitely see her emotion on there.
Agreed. So have you read any, because I know you're new to comics, so have you read any of comics with Hela in them? Because I know, she's such a different take too. She's a little bit more towards like the Norse lore, but if you're a fan of her from the movie.
So who's your number 7? No, I haven't read the comics.
Well then maybe you should get into that. I know Shelf
I
Avengers on here can definitely help you with that.
I'll check it out. But she's a guest finally an Asgardian. Such a gorgeous. It is a gorgeous figure. I'm wondering, Victoria, do you like the other one also that came out, like the original one? But yeah, I'll definitely get on the comics. Kate was dead sexy as Hella. Don't ask. Okay. Hair down is the way to go.
Thank you. Yes.
It
Yes.
is, but this is still pretty iconic.
It is really cool.
Thank you, Fred Chichito's creations. See, now I'm gonna have to end up posing this with the other head sculpt because y'all are ragging on this one. All right. Actually, the cool thing about this one is it came with Scourge, so you got 2 Asgardians in one pack.
That's true, yeah. Which I like, no offense, like Scourge was okay, but man, what a waste of Carl Urban as an
Yeah.
actor. Yeah, he deserved better.
Yeah. Victoria says it's okay. I actually like the power dies. I don't like this. I gotcha. Cool. All right. So, do you want to go ahead and with your number 7?
Yes. So I hate to put him so low on this list. I mean, he made it into my top 10, but there's just something that makes and breaks it. But it would be incorrect not to have the upcoming Walmart exclusive Doctor
Wow.
Strange for the shelf. You'll see why he's not a favorite, because he's kind of my Kit Bash. So I love it. I am happy that they put out a Doctor Strange finally. For the longest time we had that horrible ugly Defender Strange. That's the only one you can get for the comics, with the horrendous face sculpt that even I could love. And then finally they put one out with his iconic blue tunic that everyone wants Doctor Strange for. One of my issues is that this cape does not come off. I don't know why you can't remove the cloak of levitation. I think that was a huge step back, but all right, it was a choice. And then 2 was the fact that they decided, once again, they made the same mistake that Diamond Select made, and that they went with this horrendous 1980s look. I I do not like his face sculpts in this wave. He is that weird. I think it's Gillis and Warner during the 1980s were the ones that were really penciling Doctor Strange, and
Mhm.
they just gave him the big poofy hair, the really bushy mustache. He just kind of looks like a man you would walk on the other side of the street if you saw. He just gives me the
Ooh.
creeps during that era. No, I feel like he's gonna try to sell me watches. It's just not my look. So when I found the stealth suit Iron Man head sculpt, it did not look like Iron Man to me. When I saw it, I thought of Doctor Strange, and I was like, you know what? I can get Shelf Avengers to paint sideburns on him, and he'll be perfect. So I made mine look more like the Craig Russell penciling of Doctor Strange with the 1970s, which is definitely more of the iconic era, but I'm glad people who like the 1980s will have their 1980s Strange, I guess. It's the incorrect design, but they're free to love it.
Yeah, the head sculpt didn't really sit well with me. A lot of the more recent ones, like that Iron Man one, the 20th one anniversary, and that Hulk head sculpt, don't sit well with me. That Doctor Strange is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Is it cool if we see? I get full screen. Can you see that head sculpt again?
Oh yeah. Here you
Shout
go.
out to Shelf Avengers for painting on the sideburns
Yeah,
and
look at
adding the
that.
gray.
But there you go. If you want a more, Craig Russell looking Doctor Strange, just get the stealth suit Iron Man head sculpt. It'll solve everything. And the skin tone even matches. So
That's cool that you found that head sculpt because I never thought of that when I saw that original 80th
yeah.
anniversary.
Yeah, I was just walking through Target and I saw it and I was like, Steven, hello. It did not even make me look like because it's different enough from the 80-year anniversary Tony Stark that also comes with a alternative head sculpt. They're different enough that you could have both of them on your shelf unmasked and they would look like two completely different characters.
Right. I do find the irony of the cloak of levitation. You can't remove it from his body.
I guess it
Would
has
you?
attachment issues.
Would you? Would you rather have had the peg on the back like they do with the other Doctor Strange figures?
Honestly, yes, I probably would have. Yes and no, because mine's just gonna go on a flight stand and I'm never gonna touch him. So would I ever have really taken off his cloak? No. But everyone likes options, and you don't have an option. You just
Yeah,
have to keep it on him.
it's stuck on there.
It is. It's stuck.
I'm surprised to see him this high on the list.
Oh well, with the alternative head sculpt, he's great. It's
Right.
just if I was rating him from out of the box, oh, thank you.
Okay. Before we move on to our number 6, we're going to backtrack on some of these comments here. Agreed. It's hard to make me not care about an Asgardian, but they did it.
With the
Facts on Carl Urban. He deserved better. Agreed. He's Billy Butcher.
yes.
Albert said Diabolica. The hand-holding Mjolnir is great. Yep. The cape being stuck to him kills me. Yeah, I don't know.
It makes no sense.
And Crunchy Cheetos creation is in agreement with the articulated heroes. Shout out to B-Man, huge longtime friend of the channel. How's it going, man? He said, what up, Pack? Disney Toy Backs, Iron Man, Hall of Armor for the win. I'm still working on mine. I think I've got 5 to 6 rows. Dude, I've only got 1. That's cool, though. I can't wait to see yours. Crunchy Cheetos creation says that Doctor Strange head sculpt reminds me of Death Wish. Yeah, it's something about these head sculpts that all look like Charles Bronson, man. That head sculpt looks great on him. I wonder why.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Charles Bronson. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we're caught up with that. Wow, Doctor Strange is number 7. Okay. Number 6 for me. You guys are going to notice there's like a contrast between my list and Anji's, kind of like a movie one versus a comic one. But that's the beauty of Marvel Legends. There's so much variety. And my number 6 is the man they call Eric Lenscher, Magneto, the Michael Fassbender one. Now,
the superior one. Sorry.
Yes, thank you. So, the Albie and me and you are in agreement. We prefer Michael Fassbender. This is on my list for a lot of reasons. I would have never thought we would have gotten Fox Marvel Legend ever since those terrible ones they did earlier on with Hasbro. Yeah. And the cool thing about this, I remember when I first bought it, I drove to Books A Million of all places to find it because I was seeing people in groups who are like, "Oh, Books A Million has it."
Oh well, I didn't even know they sold Marvel Legends.
Neither did I. I found the one Books A Million that had it. I was like, "Oh, cool." But it's all. I think this has to be their first movie figure that's all entirely pinless.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it chose the suit from the. There's always a back and forth with me and Albie. We think Days of Future Past is better, or he thinks First Class is better. I prefer Days of Future Past because I do like the suit he was rocking in this.
Yeah.
I love the head sculpt of Michael Fassbender. The other one doesn't really look like him, but I think this is...
Okay. I thought both did really well with the likeness.
Right. But I was huge fan of Michael Fassbender's portrayal as Magneto. He would have been my pick to be the next James Bond years ago, but that's a different discussion for a different day.
Yeah.
And I think he had more of an impact as Magneto than Sir Ian McKellen. So no disrespect to Ian McKellen fans out there, but Fassbender was the way to go.
Did you also like the Charles Xavier that came? Because he came, right? He was a 2-pack, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, James McAvoy. The
Yes.
only thing I had problem with, I was trying to find a figure to put hair on him, but it's
Okay,
really hard.
yeah, if you wanted more of that first class look.
Yeah. Remember how earlier I said there's figures you'd be surprised I have like 3 or 4 of? This is one of them.
Well, I can't blame. That
And
looks like Michael Fassbender in the role.
and I think this is going to be worth or sought after because I think he's going to appear in Multiverse of Madness.
I would hope so. Like honestly, like if they're gonna bring in the X-Men, I would love to keep him as our Magneto. I
Right?
really would.
Yeah. Uh, yes. Oh, let me go ahead and go here. Oh hell yeah, my fave. He's objectively the best, and Magneto is one of the best characters. Yes. Love Fassbender. Hell yeah, bring him back, MCU. Better suit, but first class.
See, I think I have to agree with you. I like Days of Future Past a little more.
2-1, Albie.
But
2-1.
First Class butchered my Emma Frost. What was that? They
uh,
she was not my Emma.
if they made a Marvel Legends of her, would you buy that?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, still,
Just because I love Emma Frost, but
yeah. Okay. And Victoria says, I actually think the unmasked head looks good. That's how I have them displayed. And I think first class is better, but I actually like the Apocalypse suit. Really? I thought the helmet was kind of too big on the Apocalypse one. But so it's 2-2. So we have Victoria and Albie thinking first class and me and you thinking Days of Future Past.
balanced as all things should be.
Oh, I see what you did there. What's even cool about this, though, is now we have a live action version of the Family Matters 3-pack. We have this, the recently released Pietro and Wanda.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for like rambling on. I'm really, really a huge fan of the X-Men movie property. So I was like, yeah. But number 6, Magneto.
Yeah, it's a good one. Okay. So my number 6. Again, I hate to put her so low on this list. But we stand a goddess, and that is the What If Disney Plus wave, Scarlet Witch, the one I have been waiting years for. So obviously I loved WandaVision. I was so happy that ended up becoming the first one to kickstart off Phase 4, because originally it was supposed to be Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'm just glad. I think WandaVision was such a unique concept, and I think it really, like, I've always been a fan of the Scarlet Witch and Vision in the comics, but I agree that they've always been kind of foreshadowed or like shadowed over in the actual movies because there's so many characters they need to keep up with. So I'm really glad that they're actually tapping into Wanda's potential, and I'm really happy they're able to call her the Scarlet Witch now. Sorry, the X-Men franchise had to die to do that, but they finally are able to give her her title. And so I just remember, like, I was so happy when she in episode 9 had her whole reveal and she was in her Scarlet Witch glory, and that Elizabeth Olsen even had a say over her costume because she had a lot of issues with her Civil War costume because it showed a lot of cleavage and she was the only one running around in like a Hot Topic corset. So she was like, finally, I'm wearing a costume that like actually is practical for her character. So I'm happy for that in her regard. She has her title, she has her crown, and I think they just did a wonderful job with this figure. So definitely excited. Surprisingly, I think I'm going to like the Multiverse of Madness costume change a little more. To me, I like that variation a little better. But my theory is that that might not be our Wanda, so I'll hold my thoughts on that. But I am happy we do have this Wanda in toy form.
That's right. I remember you eloquently broke it down on the story.
It's my conspiracy theory, man. And until they
Maybe,
tell me no, I'll believe it.
maybe we'll have to do a predictions podcast on that movie.
Oh my gosh, there would be so many opportunities to be so wrong.
So you, so you prefer the upcoming outfit over that one, really?
Yes. To me, for some reason, and I think it's because I'm coming from the comic series. Her silhouette is so iconic, and it's always been very sleek. She's always been a very sleek character, and just something about her really red curly hair just never seemed very Wanda to me. I mean, it definitely was like early days Wanda where she had her really Romani look with her really dark brown hair, but they took away her brown hair and they just gave her like, Jean Grey red hair. And
Right.
so I like that the new one has like scarlet red hair and it's really straight and it's really flat and her costume seems very seamless, and just to me she looks like a serpent. She looks like a dangerous snake, and that's what Wanda should be versus her WandaVision one, which is okay, but I don't know, something about it just seems a little messy to me. So the new one seems very streamlined.
Now, early prediction, you think they'll give us an updated Marvel Legends of Wanda?
I think so. I think because there was a I posted it on my story because someone shared it with me. There seems to have been a leaked blurry image of a potential 2-pack with a Scarlet Witch and a Doctor Strange.
Hmm.
So I think that one will come out after Multiverse gets released as kind of like a later release. Because I feel like the Wanda might be like connected to some sort of spoiler, and that's why they haven't released it yet. But I do think we're gonna get a Wanda for sure.
That's always like the double-edged sword of MCU figures. It's like spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen Spider-Man, but there's always that thing that gets revealed that they're gonna make a figure, not till later on.
Yes. Which I
Uh,
mean, Wanda's worth waiting for. So
right. Um, Before I move on to number 5, thank you for sharing that. You'll find my
yeah.
number 5 interesting. Do we think the cameos of Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness will be just that, or have those characters become the main version of the MCU? I think they'll just be cameos, honestly.
I agree.
Crunchy Cheeto says, and then they killed Darwin, the guy. Oh, he's talking about X-Men First Class. So much for adapting.
Ironic.
Yeah. I think there will be cameos, just a way to have fun with all the fans. Yeah. I think that's the one thing that set me off. That didn't set me off. It just kind of deterred me from WandaVision was seeing seeing his version of Quicksilver on there. And then it was like in my head, I'm like,
And
this
then it was
can't be
just, yeah.
Ralph. I was about to say that's sacrilege, but I like the comic version better, so I can't complain. I'll have to send a pic of the Hall of Armor later, and that's a great Wanda figure. WandaVision was my favorite Disney Plus series for sure. Super immersive story. Never know what's coming next. And yes, I actually just reviewed that 2-pack Titan Heroes, one of my latest. Oh yeah, Brandon's good at reviewing like those Titan Hero ones, like those.
Okay.
One you just picked up. Yeah,
I have those too. They're ugly, but I love them.
Yeah, somebody called them the Walmart hot toys, and I was like, that's a good catchphrase.
They're goblins.
So ironically, we're gonna go number 5, and everything you said about yours will apply to mine because my number 5 is actually
the goddess,
the Scarlet Witch,
the queen.
And what did it cost? What did you say? What did it cost to get them to call her Scarlet Witch? Everything with Fox.
It's true. She really said no more mutants and just killed that franchise.
Ouch. True. There's a lot of reasons why I really like this. I never noticed the wavy hair until now. You mentioned it. I do love the face sculpt. Like it seems like as every like Wanda figure came out, the head sculpt got progressively better.
Yes.
Like, that looks like Elizabeth Olsen to me. I love. Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I thought they did great with just the Infinity War one, and then they came out with this one, and I was like, how did they beat that one?
Right, and I love the suit. I think I'm not too hip on the comics, but it seems similar to what we saw in the comics, in my opinion.
I would have preferred if they gave her hood, like her cape. I was really upset that they kind of excluded that portion out because that would have really kind of leveled it a little bit more.
Did you see the Diamond Select one that came with the hood?
Yes, I have that one. It's so hard to get the hooded head on the body, though.
Really?
Yes. It's a challenge.
My only thing with that one is I wish they would have given her a better like expression on her face.
I know they did a disservice.
Instead of like, I'm just here because they wanted me to be here.
She's in the midst of her depression. She's just existing at this point.
Yeah, to your point earlier, I think it was cool that WandaVision kickstarted the Phase 4. Mm-hmm. Admittedly, I wasn't a huge fan of the first few episodes.
Okay, I could see it was a slow burn. And I think, I grew up on like my mother was obsessed with sitcoms, so I was like that was a comforting like style to me. So I had a lot of fun, but I could see for people who are just like, hello.
Yeah, I did appreciate it. Like when they did the nod to like Malcolm in the Middle, I knew instantly what they were like channeling. I was like, oh, that's Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
But that was cool. I love the final scene. Like, I don't know why a lot of people didn't like the final battle with Agatha. They're like, oh, it's so much CGI. I'm like, it's Scarlet Witch. What did you expect? Like
Elizabeth Olsen used real magic. Come on now.
Yeah, like choreographed like moves. Like
yeah.
I'm sure at some point my predictions they're going to release an Agatha Harkness figure at some point.
Oh, I hope so. Especially since they're giving her own show. It'll come eventually.
Yeah. Something about the suit, like I love the texture that they added on there. Like the attention to detail was so awesome with this figure.
Yeah. And it's still, I remember me and Shelf Avengers had been talking when it was first coming out. We're like, because people who got them early were obviously selling them for gobs of money. And we were both like, eventually this figure is going to come down in price, but she is still selling for like $30 to $40. She has never come down. I mean, she
Yeah,
deserves it, but I was like, geez. So like if they don't give us a mom version of Scarlet Witch, like that, I think that figure is just going to keep going up.
yeah. We'll just call Doctor Strange that now. Doctor Strange mom.
I mean, he's gonna be parenting everyone. We all know this.
Is this one you have two of?
I think I have 4.
Okay,
So
so cool.
I got a hold of several.
I'm with you on this though, because I did see it on Amazon one time for 30 like 3 months ago, and I was like, yeah, let me just pick one up.
Yeah, I luckily just placed a lot of pre-orders with different places, so balanced out because now I look at them and I'm like, well, I'm not buying that right now.
That is the name of the Marvel Legends game. Pre-ordering from everywhere. Who sends first, and then cancel the others.
It's true.
That is my number 5. Who do you have on to your
Okay.
number 5?
Yeah, so for my number 5, and it's both because I think it's just a great figure and I love the character, it is going to be, gotta remember where it was from. Yeah, so their 80th anniversary Alpha Flight, which was a
Oh,
box set that came up on Amazon, I believe. It was just an Amazon exclusive, but this is their Snowbird or Naira. And I'm just a huge Alpha Flight fan. Like, no one knows about Alpha Flight, and no one reads Alpha Flight. And Marvel doesn't care about Alpha Flight. I mean, North Star and Aurora have kind of continued on, but I don't know what it is about. I just thought Alpha Flight was really cool. I was glad it kind of went explored more of Canada's lore, because the thing that's great about Snowbird is that she's supposed to be like a demigoddess, a daughter of an Inuit, tribal goddess. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And the fact that she took on a human form only because it made her less frightening to other people, I thought was like a great concept. So it was never a figure I ever thought Marvel Legends would put out because, like I said, who talks about Alpha Flight? Literally no one. And then they put it out, and I was like, they did. And they did such a good job. Like, you know how there's some figures you get that you're like, okay, that's okay. I would almost prefer a custom. Like this one, I'm fine with just what Marvel Legends did. So I had to have her on the list. Aurora is technically my favorite Alpha Flight character, but I don't think her costume's interesting enough to make her my favorite Marvel Legends.
I got to give you kudos to that. That's a deep cut character because I literally only seen Alpha Flight in X-Men the animated series, and I only
Yes.
remember Puck. That's the
Oh,
only him and
I know.
Vindicator.
I mean, I don't blame them for not being popular. They're a bit of a hot mess, but just like the representation, like I love the fact that I'm waiting for a talisman, character like Marvel Legends to come out. I just thought the cast of Alpha Flight was just very unique. So, and you gotta love a tribal goddess who can turn into wolves or otters if she wants to.
Now, you mentioned she changed into a human form so she's less frightening.
Yes.
What is
So
her actual form?
you never you see it every now and then. It's almost like the Megan character where she's just more animalistic in appearance. She kind of has like fur. She has like very like slitted eyes, like
Hmm.
talons and stuff. She's definitely more like beastly. But her mother took on a human form and then she kind of learned from her mom to also present herself in a human form because that made her team more comfortable. And I was like, all right, we love a baddie.
Right. Gotta appreciate the adaptation. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to move
Oh
on to
yeah.
our number 4 in just a second. We're going to go catch up with these comments. Crunchy Cheetos Creation says powered up glowing eyes head sculpt would have been nice for her to have. Oh, you're talking about Scarlet Witch? Yeah, I agree. Anything alternative hands or extra head sculpts? Yeah. Victoria says, what has been your favorite Disney Plus show so far?
WandaVision for me.
Loki.
Well, she'll love you for that one.
North Star is in my top 10.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I love North Star too, and especially if you have them with Aurora. They're so simple. Like I love their simple design, but like Snowbird has a little pizzazz. We appreciate that here.
I love the aesthetics of that suit. Actually, it was really nice.
Yes.
Victoria says, I'd actually be surprised if we don't see something done with Alpha Flight, considering they did Guardians and Eternals.
I would hope so. Like let the Canadian viewers have something for once.
Yeah. How would you tie them in the MCU, Victoria? That's the question. Okay, so number 5 is done. So we're moving on to number 4. Hopefully, if y'all are keeping up with us, I think that's what it is.
Yes, we are.
All right.
That's what my list says.
My number 4 is the Mad Titan himself, Thanos, the brother of Harry Styles, the much more handsome brother of Harry Styles. Sorry. There's multiple ones of these. There was the original Build-A-Figure one, which was, I think, based off concept, and he looked like a grape, like he was like a shiny, glossy finish.
Yeah.
I've got the 3-pack one that came with the light-up Iron Man and Doctor Strange.
Okay.
You're not going to like this one. I sold that Doctor Strange, but I sold it to Albie, who should be in the chat here.
Okay. Better be giving him a good home.
I didn't think that set well with the face sculpt with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, see, he's one of my favorites. I thought they did better than they have been doing with that one.
Whoa. That's still a cool figure, but I love Thanos because we had talked before the stream began that Thanos was really the one that really got me immersed in the MCU, because after reading the comics and finding out who Thanos was, I'm like, oh, wow, we're actually going to see a live action version of him. And then from 2012 to like 2018, we had only gotten like 10-second clips and cameos of him after credits.
Yeah.
So to finally see him in Infinity War, which is still my favorite MCU movie of all time, was awesome.
Okay.
I do prefer this Marvel Legends look over the armored one. Also because that armor one, they haven't ever gotten down correctly. Like it's all been like concept art and stuff like that. I guess the last 2-pack is kind of accurate. But.
So I think I missed it. Which Thanos is this one from? Is this from the 3-pack or?
No, well, this is from the Black Order, the Children of Thanos pack.
Oh, okay, that one.
This is like, it's like every time they kept releasing it, it got better and better. It's like a more polished version of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I really like this one. I also like how the head sculpt is damn near perfect to what we saw in the movie.
Yeah, every Thanos merchandise, I think, is always they've been able to do really well with his likeness.
Yeah. And somebody would ask me one time, they're like, why did he take off his armor in Infinity War to dress like he's going to the gym? And I'm like, it's easy. It's because people like me will just buy more toys of him. So I have this one and the armored one.
He's there to bench press the Avengers, man. This is his workout.
Yeah. But yeah, the cool thing about this one is like every time they kept releasing them, they added more stuff. Like a snapping finger was from the family pack. The other one had like a fisted gauntlet. And then the last one also had like a burnt arm from snapping.
Okay, yeah. So question for you then. Did you like his character in Infinity War then? Because to me, I almost preferred his more antagonistic, like, Endgame one. Because to me, that was more Thanos. I felt like they tried to humanize Thanos too much. I don't know. I felt like they tried to reason too much. I was like, no, just give me my bloodthirsty Thanos.
I guess from that, yeah, I understand why you prefer the Endgame. Especially in that final battle when he was like murking people.
Yeah, I felt like all of his cameos up until now were more towards this Endgame one, and then suddenly Infinity War happened, and he was like, big brain, big thinker. And I was like, I thought you were just like a violent madman.
Well, he was a madman that went through things. But
sorry, Thanos. Hurt your feelings.
I actually preferred his version in Infinity War.
Okay. And so you did like him being more humanized.
That, and he just seemed more. I would say his Infinity War version was stronger than his Endgame version.
Okay.
His Infinity War version had more of like a goal and like I'm trying to think of ways to put it in words, like more of a
like focus. Motivation. Like he actually had like reasons and not was just like, I'm evil. So there.
Right. Sorry, I'm like reading the comments. I saw the last one. I'll go to them after we're done with that number 4.
I don't get to see, guys.
Are you okay? Yeah, I really like this. The one thing I say though is I wish we would have seen the version we saw in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I wish we would have gotten that one more, like, because that was more like a menacing Thanos. Even though it was like a 2-minute clip where he's like sitting on the sanctuary on this throne.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a cool Thanos. That reminded me of the comic Thanos.
Okay.
But yeah, I would always prefer his Infinity War version. Also because he won, so.
I mean, that's true. Oh, fun fact, because I was still new to Marvel, I was not aware there was going to be an Avengers 4. So I was very confused how they were going to resolve everything in the last 30 minutes, and then everyone just died, and I was very confused.
Yeah, my brother said the same thing. He's like,
Oh,
so that's
really?
it? They're
I
all, yeah.
didn't know.
We came
I
out
was
of the
like,
movie.
oh.
Yeah, he's like, so that's it? They're all dead? I'm like, until next movie.
I mean, that's pretty meta.
Yeah. But yes, enough rambling. I'm sorry for rambling on. But number 4 is Thanos. And did you want to go yours? Or you want me to go through the comments real quick?
Oh yeah, I finally found where they are, so I can see them now.
Oh, yeah, okay. You can get some amazing dynamic poses on him. Are you talking about Thanos? I mean, yes, but mine basically has. Oh, Hawkeye.
Oh really? Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh, that's
Hawkeye
right. I
it
forgot
was
about
good.
Hawkeye. Perfect simplicity. The entire set is so clean. I think he's talking about Alpha Flight.
Yes, I agree.
I think you might be the only person with Thanos on a top 10. But Rocket Bro, every figure deserves a fan. What? No. There's got to be someone out there that has
Man,
Thanos in their list.
Cheeto just said that was a bad pick.
In fact, I know for a fact that comic book Thanos was on a lot of people's top 10 lists last year.
He's gonna
So
send you links, bro.
you stand corrected, bro. B-Man said, didn't they leave out the fight with Agatha's pet bunny and the kids because they couldn't come? What? What is this?
Yeah, the bunny was supposed to be a demon, and they were supposed to have like a demon bunny fight with like Monica and like fake Pietro. I was so mad that they cut that because I knew that bunny was weird.
Is that why like they're like, can you bring it back to life? Like I never understood why they just went to that.
Or just like all the creepy shots of the bunny eating a fly. I think it was supposed to hint that it was, not an actual bunny.
I never knew that. That's I learned something new. I think they just didn't make him articulated well enough. He's so bricky, and the purple never seems. What? All right, we're gonna have to talk about this, Crunchy. Albie says that Doctor Strange figure is safe next to the Iron Man and Black Panther one I also got from Pac-Man.
Okay. Does he still have your Eye of Agamotto? Because mine lost his. He did a bad job at his job.
And she gave him the Diamond Select,
which is still good. Get him a new one. Yeah.
Heard that too, B-Man. Okay, about the VFX. Thanos killed my. This is what I was laughing at. All favorite. So he'll always be on my shit list. Well, see, he's on somebody's list. I told you.
Her hit list.
Either way, Brolin killed it in both Avengers film. Agreed. The Thanos stands are always going to get you.
Oh, man.
I am not a stan, dude.
I'm surviving the Spider-Man fan, so you can survive that crowd. Nothing can get you.
Why? What happened with the Thanos or the Spider-Man stands?
I don't like Spider-Man. They all know it.
Oh.
Yeah. Never say that in public.
No hate. Where? Yeah, I know. Okay, so that's fair. Then I was trying to deflect it and say that Thanos in general, but he made a good point that no one has this in their list. I do.
There you go. Now someone does.
And it's on Victoria's list too. Although it's a shit list, it's on a list. Go ahead with your number 4.
All right, so my number 4, a very similar aesthetic to the previous one. I do have the Excalibur Megan on mine.
Ooh.
Because she is, well, a personal favorite. I think everyone was really wanted a Megan because every time I was like looking through custom Marvel Legends, someone was always doing a Megan. I don't know if they were just really wanting to put themselves to the challenge of her bare feet or what. I don't know what it was, but I like Megan. She, I have a lot of British ancestry, so I have to like Excalibur because they tie into some British lore. And I really liked Megan because I thought her character is very reminiscent of like Changeling in like folklore, and I love like mythology. And changelings are, of course, things that can change their shape to resemble being more human. Because she was born of like British Romani parents, and she was born looking like a little fur baby, and everyone was scared of her. So she grew up thinking she was this like hideous monster, and then she realized one day, like, oh, I can just shapeshift into the attractive person, so I'll just do that, I guess. Which I'm like, if you want to be a wolf girl, you go be a wolf girl, Megan. But oh well. But when they put this one out, I was like, the hair is just impressive. Like, that is a solid chunk of plastic right there. And she stands. They did a great job at balancing her. I put mine on a flight pose, but I've always enjoyed Megan, so another character I wasn't expecting them to make, but very glad that they did.
Wow, so that I mean, I always say this, we're pretty much in the golden age of Marvel Legends because we're getting like characters and deep cuts, like teams we never thought we would have gotten.
I know.
So her hair stands okay. It's not like Medusa's from
Oh
the.
yeah. I mean, you won't be able to see it, but mine stands with no
You're like
issue.
gonna stand it now. It's like, hey.
Yeah, there, guys. Can you see that? She's doing great. But no, she stands just mine does, and I think it's because her feet have more surface area, so I think it counteracts it. So
And her power is like she's also a shapeshifter.
yes, and I think she flies. She kind of has like random generator superpowers, but yeah, she can change her appearance and she can become more like animal like in
Mhm.
quality. So that's why I was like, her and Snowbird have very similar stories, really.
So you're a fan of like that type of like mythos, like mythology, and like,
Yes, yeah.
are you a fan of also like the Norse mythology as well?
A little bit. I mean, as Victoria knows, I'm not. I was never really knowledgeable of Viking lore or any of that. I knew Celtic mythology, so the British Isles and the Arthurian legend. I knew
Mhm.
all of that, so that's why I like her because I understood that aspect of it. So not too caught up with the Norse side of things,
Got it.
but I can respect what they're doing. And
I
don't ask
do.
me about the Eternals. I don't know anything about them.
I don't think anyone did till the movie came out. I just read the a paperback of it, but I do not know.
And the Eternal stands are going to come for you when they're aggressive.
I'm one of those MCU Eternal stands. I didn't think it was that bad. I actually really liked it.
I enjoyed it. Not my favorite, but I didn't hate it. So.
Yeah. So that head sculpt, is it cool if you put up real
Oh
quick?
yeah, there we go. Well,
It has a very that makes it comic book s face sculpt. Like it reminds
yes.
me of like Firestar's figure, like in terms of
Yeah.
like the way the.
And see, I thought I wouldn't like it because she has a very wide grin, and sometimes
Mhm.
that doesn't translate very well on figures, and it can kind of look unflattering. But she's one of the better female face sculpts I think out there.
Easily, and I don't know how they produce that. And then I have her somewhere here. I have Sue Storm's latest one, the retro one, and she looks like
She
who's
looks
in
like
Bridget
she got.
Jones's.
Oh yeah, she looks like she got stung by bees and had an allergic reaction. That's what I think every time I see it. I'm like, Sue, please. No wonder you have the power of invisibility. I'd hide that face too.
Do you have that as well?
No, it's so bad I couldn't justify it. I was like, I'm not spending money on that.
I
Not my
only
Sue.
I only bought it to see if the Jessica Alba head would fit on it, and it didn't.
Oh, see, I like Jessica Alba. I know people kind of hate the original
I think she
Fantastic Four
was.
movie, but I liked it.
I
But
think
I
she
was
was
also
good.
like 8, so
Hopefully, she'll be in the Mom movie. But yeah, but yeah, that Sue Storm one was terrible, but that one was great. Medium.
yes.
Okay. Here we go. We're going respect, bro. Hey, respect you, too, Crunchy. She's pretty and best comic face sculpt I've seen. Wow.
Mhm.
Right on. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move into our top 3. So for my number 3 is surprise. I know that on the last movie figure on this list, we're going with Logan from the 2017 Logan movie. This
Yes.
was a PulseCon exclusive. Much like, sorry, he agrees the album was great. Much like the Magneto one, again, when they said, "Oh, hey, we're doing Fox Marvel Legends," I was like, "Oh, cool. At least we're getting X-Men Origins Wolverine, and we're getting the one with the jacket." I would have never thought, because the movie was rated R, and there's always this rule like, oh, they don't make products of rated R figures. They found a way to do it because it was a PulseCon exclusive, and I think it turned out great. It's not the best Hugh Jackman head sculpt, but it's still pretty cool. And the dope part is, like, I didn't think we'd ever see Wolverine claws.
Well, with like blood splatter on them.
Yes.
Yes.
And the Professor X figure that came with this is probably the best head sculpt I've ever seen in Marvel Legends. It looks exactly like Sir Patrick Stewart. Uh, it's a suited body, but it's a updated one. Like I think this is a little bit bigger than what we saw like in the Tony Stark one and the other ones. But overall, I'm a huge fan of Logan. I know people really want him to show up in the MCU or Hugh Jackman's version, but I thought Logan was a good send off for him. And that movie always sticks to me because to me, it's one of their best movies ever from Fox's property.
Yeah. I think they did like it just to me what really sold out for like I'll be honest, I wasn't huge into the X-Men, so like I wasn't really a part of the X-Men films when they were happening. But like I watched Logan and I think even if you're not very big into the X-Men or the X-Men's cinematic universe, you can really enjoy that film because it doesn't feel like a stereotypical superhero film. I felt like it really broke the mold of what Marvel was trying to do and DC was doing. It felt so unique, and I think they did a wonderful job on like having a more serious tone for it.
Exactly. And I've seen, like, because I have the digital version, I've seen both versions. I've seen the noir version and the one regular version. It's pretty
Okay.
cool. Yeah.
I think I just saw the colored one, so
But yeah, I really, really love the movie. And like, apart from like Deadpool, this was like the only other Marvel movie to, apart from Blade, like earlier on, to go in the rated R category.
yeah, and I think it
Because-
deserved it. I'm glad that they didn't cut back on that rating.
Yeah. Victoria says, "Oof, to be honest, that's the only movie Logan figure I don't have. I'm in the minority here, but I hated that movie. It is great likeness there." Okay. Well, thanks. Now, I'm curious to hear why you don't like it, Victoria. But
Yeah, because you love all the other X-Men movies, or at least you appreciate the cast.
was it because he wasn't wearing like the yellow outfit, or Logan
Man,
was
what if that's a cameo? I would love that if they did that as a cameo. Hugh Jackman finally in his signature Wolverine costume.
the tiger stripe? Yeah, they teased
Yes,
it before, and
just
it's
do
like
it once. The fans deserve it.
Logan was more of a Western than a
Yeah, agreed.
comic book movie. Cool. All right, so that is my number 3. Logan. And this is one I do have 2 of. The other one's still in box because I think I'm just going to keep it like that. Because the box art on that was also pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when they announced this at PulseCon, I was like, shh. My friend was with me. I was like, hell yeah, like I shouted. I was like, we're actually going to get a Logan. And then I was like, oh crap, it's an exclusive. I don't know if I'll be able to get it. And
Was it hard to get? Did it sell out or anything? I don't think I was keeping track because I'm not with the Fox franchise.
No, so when PulseCon happened in 2020, it was this and the Hellfire Club, which I ended
Oh,
up
okay.
getting too.
Yeah.
So the Hellfire Club sold out right away. This one sold out, but then like I think it's still on their website. You can still get
Okay.
this
Okay.
Pulse.
That's good.
Beeman says, "We got it in the deleted scene, the Wolverine." Yeah, true. They teased it in that movie, and I'm like, damn it, he's not gonna wear it. And Victoria said it was just too dark. I wasn't into it. I like the more epic X-Men movies. That was more of a gritty solo Logan company. Got it.
What are you talking about? You don't like to watch movies and get depressed afterwards? What's wrong with you?
Which ties us into your number 3.
Oh, yes. So my third one is she was probably also the most expensive Marvel Legends I have on my list, but it is the Thunderbolts SDCC exclusive Satana from
Oh,
their Thunderbolts wave back in 2013. So she's also very old. But yes, so I love Satana. She is a character that is not given a lot of attention in Marvel Comics. She has a lot of crossover with Doctor Strange, so obviously that's how I, came of knowledge with her. She's a very mustache twirly kind of villain. She's the daughter of Satan, and then all she does is just cause mayhem wherever she goes. But I respect her for that. But I just thought this was a gorgeous figure. Definitely more risky. I don't think Hasbro would put
oh,
something out like this anymore. But I'm glad that they did it because that's Satana's character. She's not very appropriate for the kiddos. But just like her cape is just incredibly impressive. She has I think she came with another. There was another female character in that pack. I think it was Moonstone, who also goes for a pretty expensive amount of money. And fun fact, they both have like the same head sculpt, and they're just painted differently. So
really?
like Marvel has reused this head sculpt a lot, but I think it really works for Satana. So yeah, I love her. She was really
That
expensive, but worth
wow,
it.
that's dope. So that came with Moonstone.
Yeah, it came with Moonstone. I think Ghost was in that pack as well. I think Luke Cage, and there was another figure, but I don't remember who it was at this point.
So the fun fact about Moonstone is, can I see that figure again?
Oh yeah.
It looks like she's using the same Moonstone buck.
Oh, she
And
probably.
yeah, because I can tell because so that's the same Moonstone buck, and that's like the buck that everyone prefers. Like I know they made Carol Danvers in that. Rogue
Okay.
was famous for that. And I remember like Hasbro was like, yeah, we retired that, and they brought it back when they re-released Rogue, and they did
Okay.
Jocasta. But that's I never knew about that character. So she's the daughter of Satan, essentially.
Yes, she's Satana Hellstorm, I think is her name. The comic I know her most famously for is that like Doctor Strange becomes possessed, so she shows up because I guess demons are experts in possession, and she's basically like, I'm here to help him not get possessed, but if I can't do it, I guess I'll just kill him. so
That's
she's a fun character. She does not appear in many comics.
seeing that makes me really regret selling my Mephisto figure. I had the Diamond Select one.
Oh, I love Mephisto. I was on the
And
hype train.
and that would be cool to pair with Mephisto. I can only imagine how much that Satana costs, but I'm gonna go look at that after
Just
this.
go look it on eBay sometime. You'll cringe.
That's an excellent choice. I never even knew that figure existed or who that character was. That's cool.
Yeah, she's my jewel.
Someone said earlier, Articulate Hero says no one talks about New Mutants. It was okay. Crunchy Cheeto says, I saw her in Thunderbolts. Great team in that series. Moonstone. Victoria says, she's such a nice figure. Every time they reuse that head sculpt, it's so pretty. I also wish they would put out riskier outfits. As exclusive gets more iconic. Agreed.
Definitely give it for the adults. Come on, man.
Right. It's a very busty buck. We need the classic Thunderbolts wave with the Bath Atlas.
Yes.
Yes, I sold Select Mephisto. I was going to start collecting Mezcos because Bobster from the ACBA podcast talked me into buying a Mezco figure, and I thought I was going to go down that rabbit hole. No, I stuck with Marvel Legends, and I do regret selling Mephisto. But I sold them for a lot. Trust me, I didn't get ripped off on that. Also, I was banking on Hasbro making a Marvel Legends one at some point.
Here's to hoping.
Yeah. Hopefully he shows up in Mom, so that way they'll make one. Okay. We're up to our top two. And on the list, my first comic book figure on the list, at number 2, we have the 80th anniversary, The Incredible Hulk. This is easily the best Hulk buck they've ever made because it gets reused so many damn times. They've made like 4 already. The Compound Hulk, Maestro, Red Hulk, and Gray Hulk. They came with a 2-pack with the first appearance Wolverine, but the cool thing I like about this is just the articulation. You can get them in dynamic poses. My only drawback is it doesn't have butterfly joints on the front, but it has it on the back.
Okay.
Yeah. But being a huge fan of Hulk growing up, like it's cool to finally see a decent Hulk comic book figure made. And I love this head sculpt way better than that the Marvel Legends 20th anniversary one. That one looks terrible.
Yeah.
He's got like sideburns. Like this to me is my definitive Hulk.
I love that his shirt can come off. Like I'm glad that they give you that option because but it's so iconic. Like the tattered clothes on him. But he's definitely, and I like he has very vibrant colors. It looks like too. Like that's a very nice green.
Okay.
I was gonna say I wonder why did they only give him the butterfly joints for like the back articulation? That's like such a weird choice to me. I feel like I don't know.
I think in terms of, I think they didn't want to break up the sculpt of the chest, which I would have been fine with, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they could have easily substituted like they would have on here. Like I would have been happy with that.
Okay.
But yeah, I really like this because I think the last comic book Hulk we got from Hasbro was from like a 3-pack. And it was just a reuse buck from the Avengers Age of Ultron Hulk. And that was like kind of like a half-assed one. Yeah. Whereas this one, they put a lot of thought into it. I really like this.
I was going to say that one, it looks like it came off like a comic cover.
Right, exactly. And the only thing is, I understand why they packaged it with the first appearance Wolverine. I wish we would have gotten a Bruce Banner figure with this. Though.
I was just about to say that one needs that like nerdy Bruce Banner with his glasses and his little his little jacket.
Yeah, but easily my favorite Hulk figure ever. Like I have a bunch of Hulk figures.
It's good, and you could tell that one has shelf presence. Like when you put him on a shelf, he's like a centerpiece almost.
Yeah, my old shelf, I had him pose like. You ever see that one issue? I think it's in Secret Wars where he's holding up the mountain.
Yes, yeah.
I had lowered the shelf 1 peg down, so it looks like he's holding the shelf.
Oh, that's cool. All right, that's fun. I like it when you can interact with like your display.
Right. Putting the action in action figure.
Very wise.
Articulate Hero says finger crossed for Hasbro Mephisto. Agreed. Crunchy says, agreed. 20th anniversary Hulk face. This one's way better. Exactly. The other one looks weird to me. That's one of my favorite Hulk figures too. I remember caving for that one at GameStop. He's my definitive comic book Hulk figure too. Yes. Agreed.
Nice.
He's the strongest Avenger. Okay. So take it away with your number 2.
Yes, from one powerful woman to another, I had to include the Marvel Legends 2-pack Dark Phoenix. She's
Yo.
you gotta have her. So yes. So like I've mentioned, I've been very new into the comics and I knew nothing about the X-Men. So like a few months ago I finally sat down and read the entire compilation of the Dark Phoenix saga because I wanted to know that whole story. And that made me fall in love with, like, I've always liked Jean Grey. I've always been more of an Emma Frost stan, but that made me appreciate Jean Grey. But I have to say, if Jean Grey and Phoenix were falling off the side of the cliff, Dark Phoenix is the way to go. Like, oh, I wish we got more of just like cosmic crazy over here. But I didn't get her in her 2-pack because obviously she's another crazy expensive figure. So unfortunately, I'm missing her other 2 alternative heads. But I mean, if you're gonna have a Dark Phoenix on your shelf, why wouldn't you go with her like semi-translucent, powered up, crazy mode? That's Dark Phoenix for you. So I love her. She's obviously number 2 in my list.
That is for sure a grail. Like, I almost spat my water out because I'm like, oh crap, you have a Dark Phoenix.
And also for anyone who gets the Walmart exclusive Doctor Strange, he comes with 2 fiery magic effects. They go brilliantly with her. So
Boom.
she stole his.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that is a huge grail. Like, those go for like ridiculous price on the aftermarket, and plus the Dark Phoenix is so badass.
I know. Yeah, she's just. I just love that she was just like, just hunger incarnate. That's all she wanted. She just wanted power, and she didn't really care who got in her way to get it. I was like, yes, queen.
I have the regular Phoenix figure.
Okay, the green suited one.
Yeah, and they did her dirty with that head sculpt.
Yeah.
But I also had the Toy Biz one, so I kept that Phoenix stand and put it behind it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And I have the Dark Phoenix Toy Biz version, but like, it's my way of being like, all right, I don't have that one, but I have the Toy Biz one for now.
Yes. As long as there's a Phoenix on the shelf.
Yeah, that's such an amazing figure. That's an awesome pick at number 2.
Thank you. I'm hoping one day, I don't know why it's so hard. I'm hoping one day they'll do the Dark Phoenix story justice in a movie.
Oh, you didn't like the last Dark Phoenix?
No, I didn't like either incarnation of it. I'm like, how hard is it to do this right?
Right. Such a powerful character too. So that head sculpt is probably the better one of the 3. Like, I love the flowy motion of it, the way it's sculpted.
I like everyone kind of agrees there's more of like a static head sculpt for it that's just kind of her being like a neutral Jean Grey, and I agree that everyone says that it doesn't really look like Jean Grey. And then there's like a semi one where she has like more of a serious expression with the wind blowing her hair, and that one's fine. But the powered up one where she's like super Saiyan, that's the one to go.
Yeah. Crunchy agrees it is a great figure. And Victoria says, hell yes, good choice. My favorite girl. This might actually be my top favorite Legends. Oh.
Okay, yeah. She almost got first place.
Right. So I guess we're down to our number 1. And in just a second here, you'll see mine. Building anticipation. So from one grail to another, my number 1, it is still in the box. It is the Marvel Legends Strife from the Jubilee Build-A-Figure wave.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a fun story with this. It's still in box because this was the first Marvel Legends I ever picked up at Toys R Us. I walk in with my friend, and I'm like, yeah, dude, we usually collected those Marvel Universe figures, the 3 1/4 inch one.
Okay, yeah.
But I was a huge fan of Strife because I learned about him. I was like, oh, he actually kills Apocalypse in the comics, quote unquote kills. So I was like, when I found out they made a Marvel Legends, I was like, oh yeah, I'll pick it up. I saw, and this was interesting because there was only 5 figures in the wave. 4 needed to complete the figure.
Okay.
And I saw all 5 of them in store. And if you look at the prices of them now, I'm like, whoa, had I known back then how much they were, I would have picked it up.
Yeah, with hindsight.
Yeah, but there was 2 per case, and I picked up 2. And I was like, oh yeah, let me pick up 2, 1 to keep in box and 1 to open. The one that's open, sadly, was sold years ago. But it's such a grail for me. It's my favorite legend because it's my first introduction to it. And I remember when I got the figure out of the box, like it wasn't perfect because the cape was really heavy, so it's hard to like balance it.
Yeah.
But it was such a unique character and such a deep cut. Like I'm surprised it was made because when you look at the list of other characters made in there, you got like Storm, Cyclops, Magneto, Wolverine, and Jubilee's a Build-A-Figure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would never have guessed Stripe would be on this list. That is such a niche.
Yeah, it really is. And it still has that iconic Toys R Us logo, which is gone, but apparently making a comeback with Macy's, apparently.
Hopefully.
So we'll see. Yeah. But yeah, for a lot of reasons, it's really iconic just because I remember when I saw this in store and I was like, oh, sweet. Yeah, I'll pick up 2.
Yeah, how long ago was that? Because even the box is still, I would say, it looks like it's in immaculate condition.
2014. So
wow.
this was like, I think Legends started to take stride and kick off because that year there was only like 3 or 4 waves. It was like this, the Guardians one, the Winter Soldier one, and then probably another X-Men one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's cool that he's in box.
Fun fact about this, and someone ruined it for me when I first bought it. They're like, that head sculpt they're using, sorry, it's like really reflective. It's basically just a Wolverine head sculpt with a bunch of like panels added to it.
Oh, I could see that now. But oh well.
Yeah.
Stripe.
And this is the one that people were like always begging for or clamoring to have another re-release. And I'm hoping they get a re-release of it with an updated metallic finish to it or something.
I was gonna say, what is your opinion on them doing re-releases? Like, because I know some people don't like it because it ruins the original value, and some people are like, well, it just lets everyone have a fair game now.
That I'm okay with re-releases because it's like if you're unhappy about re-releases because it makes yours less value, it's kind of like gatekeeping in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm happy like that Spider-Man 2099. I got it because like, oh yeah, I saw it at the time. I didn't want to pick it up, and resale values on the aftermarket was crazy. So when they came out with it, I was like, yeah, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
How about you?
I was gonna say, like, I understand both of them because, I can appreciate it from like a collector standpoint where we do collect because there is a degree of value to what you're collecting. But I can also say, for people who don't have like the ability to spend upwards to $200 to get a character they might really want and really enjoy, it is more fair. I would say I wish that sometimes they would include like something additional to the characters they re-put out just to have more incentive for why they're re-releasing it. But I'm glad, like, I know like that Lady Loki was just re-released and I know so many people were like really wanting her, so I'm glad that Marvel or Hasbro is willing to do that.
Yeah, the A-Force.
Yes, yeah, the A-Force, yeah.
That was another one I saw at Toys R Us when they were going out of business for like $50, and I was like, I'm good.
And now that whole pack is so expensive.
Right. I definitely see your point, the collecting aspect of it. Some re-releases are like there is an incentive, like the Green Goblin one last year with the retro wave. They gave us a Norman Osborn head sculpt.
Yes.
There's some where it's like, like the Gambit that was re-released.
Okay, yeah.
Like it was okay. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yes, that is my number 1, still in box. I was debating on taking it out of the packaging. And then I realized till somebody in the group mentioned it, they never had tapes on the OG packaging.
Oh,
it was
nice.
Like,
yeah. Now keep it in box.
Right. Actually, I'm opening it live now.
Just rips into it.
Yeah. Okay. Before we move into your number 1, let me just catch up on the comments here. So we say, I love the figure, but he's TM2 pricey. Yeah, well, hopefully they come out with a re-release version, a retro version. It's a really interesting one. He definitely has an interesting character design. Yes, he does. I agree. I had one years ago, but sold him. So much regret. Oh, sorry. So I got to get 2, man. The Storm from that wave is the best. Yes, I agree. That Mohawk Storm was so badass. We got another one from the other Apocalypse wave, but this one was pretty cool. And Brandon said, wow, I remember that wave in 2014. I saw them at Toys R Us, but skipped the whole wave. Sorry. I saw them too, but luckily I was picked up 2.
I think he had one more comment.
Oh, was there another
B-Man.
one? Oh, my bad. I'm not okay with re-releases. I spent time and energy to get all the BAF pieces to find grails, but I'm okay with it if I miss the BAF and can score the. That is true. Like
it's good when it works in your favor. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like that Vulture one that was re-released. I never bothered to do the Bill of Wing set for that, and I got the Target one, so that was cool. I just completed M'Baku, and I saw the rumors that they're supposed to re-release him. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Like I just completed that build of figures. All right. So let's go to Anji's number 1.
Man, not to shame my number one, but he's kind of lame to end on. I like him
What?
because I'm a simp, but he's in
What?
no way rare and no way hard to find.
That's cool.
But
That's cool.
I had to include, and I actually do have also another reason other than I'm a simp, but I had to include What If Doctor Strange Supreme. And I
Ooh.
gave him my Mysterio's weird smoke tentacle effects because if you watch the episode, it makes sense to have it with him. But the reason I included him is one, because I love the character. How dare What If, which I think was one of the weakest Disney Plus shows, give me one of my favorite iterations of the Doctor Strange character. I liked it because if you watch it, it vibes a lot of the OG Doctor Strange comics because it gets really weird. And if you watch it, you know it gets really weird. And that's Doctor Strange has always been a wacky, weird world. And so the fact that they started like getting that into the character, like with him eating a gnome. Like, what is that? Like, that's so weird. But that's Doctor Strange comics, and I love when a character becomes more morally gray. I like that they kind of divulged into, if he had his priorities set differently, how convoluted would his character become? But the reason I really like the figure is because I know people weren't really happy with the What If wave. And I think it was because What If is technically MCU. So if you're collecting MCU characters, you're kind of used to the modern face printing tech. And the What If wave is very animated because it was an animated style. So they kind of put the animation style on their characters so they don't really pair well with your regular MCU characters. But I'm glad that they had fun with the What If wave. I'm glad they became more stylized. And I think, at least with the Doctor Strange one, I think he looks normal enough to have with your Doctor Strange and him not look like he's like a completely different style, but still different enough that he's very unique on your shelf. So I love him. He's my favorite. I think everything about the character and the color scheme is great.
Uh, Tell us how you really feel about What If. No, that Doctor Strange figure is really underrated. I had that in
Yeah.
my top 20 list of Marvel
Okay.
Legends last year. But like
Yes.
the detail in his eyes to see that it's weathered, like on that face sculpt, is impressive.
Yeah, you can tell he's gone through some stuff and he's kind of going bonkers.
Yeah, I also like the cape on that one because it doesn't hinder its
Yes.
articulation. It gives you enough space to move it around.
Agreed. And I mean they reused a lot of the sculpt obviously from the Doctor Strange they already had, but he was so different, and I guess, and I was also just like, before now that we have like so many more Doctor Stranges, I was so like Doctor Strange starved. I was like, when are they going to put out a new figure of him? And then finally they gave us that one, and I never thought they would, and I was like, yes.
Perfect.
Episode 4, by far the best thing What If did.
Yeah. Did you like his scenes in the last 2 episodes?
I did,
Those
yes. I
office pictures.
remember again, trying to watch that at 3 a.m. and he just like eats an explosion.
Oh, you
It's
do the
like,
thing. You do the thing too, where it's like you wait for it to appear, and it's like,
yes.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, what? He could have. I don't know why they needed the rest of them. It could have just been Doctor Strange versus Ultron. He would have won. We all know it. He
yeah.
carried that team. He carried that team.
I
Why
saw a
was
meme.
anyone else there?
I saw a meme of that where they're like making fun of like it's pretty much just Doctor Strange and like a few people there just to watch him.
Exactly. And
Uh,
I'm so hoping this is the iteration we get in the Multiverse of Madness, because I know there's a theory that it might not be the What If Strange, but I'm like, please let it
or
be
he's like
him.
things just got interesting. The
Yes.
thicker goatee Doctor Strange. Yeah,
Yes. The one that looks like it hasn't slept in 50 years.
yeah. Or had a good haircut. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that I like that Doctor Strange figure because I feel like it can work with both because it's stylized. You can work with both comic and
And
MCU figures.
exactly, yeah, like he
Yeah,
looks actually really good with the comic Dormammu because they both have a very similar shade of purple.
yeah.
So
I dig it. I like that number one. That's a great choice. That is a highly underrated Doctor Strange figure.
thank you. I had to have Doctor Strange at number one.
Um, that is our list, but we're gonna get to the chats. Same. I just got the new Homecoming Vulture. You'll like this one. Victoria says, "Girl, I can't believe you put Dark Phoenix
Doctor
underneath it."
Strange is better than Dark Phoenix. I said it.
Whoa.
Mm.
Crunchy said, "Great call. That Mysterio effect with him. Nice. Yeah, that's a good. That's good.
It wasn't me. I stole it from someone on Instagram. So,
Was that with the one that came with the retro one, or that came with the original?
just the retro one. The original did come with one too. I think it's a little bit of a darker greenish blue. This one's a little bit more vibrant. So I
Yeah,
would say use the retro one.
fair enough. That Doctor Strange is epic. He's my fave from that wave too.
Thank you. Yes.
It's number 2 for me on that wave. I like the Watcher, and I also like
Oh, okay.
I like Sylvie's figure too.
Okay, yeah.
True, I wish they kind of weren't animated style type figures. My What If T'Challa is one of my favorite figures. Yeah, a lot of people dog on that figure because it's not entirely accurate, but I do like that T'Challa figure.
Yeah.
It's very sentimental because that was his last project in the MCU.
Exactly. And I'm glad that they went with an animated style instead of just like reusing the T'Challa head sculpt they already gave us. It gave us something new.
Right. Actually, I might steal that effect idea for IG.
Go ahead. I stole it from someone else. Just keep stealing.
Agreed. Doc Strange was all that was needed. Oh, sweet. I have no guilt stealing it from you now. That's awesome. Yeah, so that is our list. I'm sure with whatever figures are coming out this year, it might change our list again next year or update. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's our list. I really appreciate everyone coming and joining on the live. Like we got 15 people here. I want to thank all 15 of you and other people that have chimed in too. I want to thank B-Man, Crunchy, Victoria, Articulated Heroes. Sorry, I'm trying to go through the list. Albie from Lonely Fans Podcast. Did I miss anybody? Anyone that's participated in the chat, thank you. And Crunchy says, awesome list. Thank you, Crunchy.
Thank you.
If y'all are catching the replay, feel free to leave your favorite Marvel Legends in the comments below. Anji, where can the people find you on Instagram? I guess the handle right there. Is there anywhere else? Twitter, YouTube, anything else?
Shibaungienu on Instagram. I'll be there.
Thank you for saying it because I couldn't say the whole thing. But yes. Thank you, Anji, for joining me. And thank you all for joining us as well. We'll have to do this again, but with a different list of figures, potentially.
Definitely.
This is such awesome show, guys. Thank you so much, Victoria. And thank you all. And be sure to follow us on Instagram. And like always, YouTubers, if you like what you see, be sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Peace.